Hello everybody and welcome back to Kerbal Space Program, where last episode we docked up our fuel craft up to our mining station so that we can put that into the proper orbit. I did want to check in on our contracts real quick here, see if anything has popped in, and the answer to that is no. Absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing at all. Well, that's fine. I mean, extracting ore from Minmus and the moon and delivering it might be something that we do later on, but I'm not really ready to commit to doing that right now. I mean, it wouldn't be particularly challenging. But for now, we want to get that mining ring station into its proper orbit. So we're going to hop in over here. There we go. And we are, of course, going to want to disable this engine. That is our current... Well, actually, we've already filled this up. We have a little bit of fuel left here. Where are we in our orbit? We are not at apoapsis currently. Okay, and as far as the ascending node goes, yeah. I mean, that would be like over here, I think, if we wanted to, hypothetically, if we wanted to get this circularized, or not circularized, but rather brought down into a proper orbit. You can see here, this isn't enough fuel as is to do that. So that's definitely spicy. We do have another option, though. And that other option is, well, first off, we can bring it in something kind of like this. But for now, I would like to go into the advanced orbital info and look at our inclination. That's 0.3 degrees there. Okay. So this timing is a little bit off. We can see that. .3 is the closest that we've got there. A little bit of retrograde brings us down to 0.2. Okay, so that puts us at a perfectly equatorial inclination right there. Now, we don't have enough fuel to do that. So we could bring this guy back down and come up with another run after we perform this maneuver. And I think that's what we're going to do. We're going to head over to the apoapsis here. We're going to warp on over to there. Did I already disable this engine? Or did I just think about it? I may have just thought about it. We're going to see in a moment. But yeah, we definitely can't run this entire burn. That's fine. So this engine is active. Sounds good. We are going to disconnect this dock. So we'll undock that. And we're going to hop over to this craft here. For the time being, all we need to do is let this drift away. We don't have any ability to make that go any faster. I'm going to pull back this solar panel for right now. And we are going to head over this direction. I pulled back the solar panel so that it wouldn't impact here. And we're just going to get ourselves a teeny tiny amount of burn out over this way. Okay. Now we're going to go to retrograde. And we can reopen this solar panel. And we're going to take a look at our periapsis here. We're going to bring that down to, I don't know, I have no idea if we can actually land this thing. I highly doubt it. We're probably just going to crash it if I had to guess. Especially with this amount of fuel. I'm pretty sure. So if we're just going to crash it, we should probably go all out with that. Burn everything that we've got here. We've got a minute of burn on this. Oh, right. This is heavily thrust limited. There we go. That's more like it. So we go all out on that. This is going to crash, and that's fine. We don't actually care about watching it crash. We know that it's going to happen. So the mining ring station, we will go ahead and switch to that. This is not going to crash, and you can see that we're better off now that we detached all that extra weight. But we're not perfect. We're going to head on over to this maneuver node. There we go. Well, we're not there yet, but we'll head on over. And we will get this all set up. We're going to need a second fuel flight, which I actually didn't expect. I expected that we'd be able to get there on this. I wonder if it would be cheaper to burn it out here. Let's test that hypothesis. So if that's the case, we basically just passed this node. No, I don't want the alarm clock. Get out of here. Get out of here. But if that's the case, we basically just passed this node. And we would want to get our inclination down about 30 degrees. Okay. That's getting a little bit less efficient. We can bring it in a little bit retrograde. Yeah, that's starting to go back up. So we probably need to adjust the timing of this. 2.5 degrees here. This would be about at the I'm not sure if it's the ascending or descending node, but this is definitely more efficient over on this side, and that's because we're in a higher orbit. So that's really to be expected. We actually don't need another fuel flight, it looks like, and that's really, really good. So 0.4 degrees. Can we change that timing at all? Yes. I saw 0.1 there. Oh, that was so close. There is a 0.1 here. There. Yeah, that's more efficient because we're higher in the orbit here. And that makes sense. So we'll align for that. Fantastic. Are we still controlling from here? We might be. Let's go ahead and control from here. There we go. And we'll head around to that maneuver node. Yeah, we were definitely still controlling from the docking port. That would have been a problem. So yeah, this is more efficient over here, and the reason for that, again, is because we're higher in the orbit on this side rather than this side. This is an elliptical orbit, and we're better off to do those inclination changes on the high end rather than on the low end. So we'll position for that, and we will warp around to this burn. And that means that we'll have about 200 meters per second left. Will that be enough to put us into the orbit that I want, which is 1 million meters circular equatorial? That's the orbit that we're looking for. We'll see if we have enough to do that. We may need another refueling run, but overall this looks good. And this other craft should have crashed by now. Yeah, it definitely would have crashed. So that's fine. We're not too concerned about that. Time warp halted. Yes, I don't care. That's okay. So we're going to warp on forward here and start our burn in about a minute. 20 seconds. Okay. 3, 2, 1, go. Okay. This is going to be a bit of a lengthy burn. Let's try physics warping. I think we could get away with 2x. 3x appears to be stable. If we start drifting off of the node, we'll have to bring it down. But for now, this appears stable. 4x is definitely drifting. So we're going to reset that positioning. 4x is obviously too much physics warp. We can't handle that. But it looks like... we'll sit at 2x for now. That's only about less than another minute of this, so that's not too bad. Okay, once we stabilize a little bit, we could maybe... Well, I don't think we're going to stabilize, actually. I think this is as stable as we're going to get. So that's okay. Of course, we don't have anything to cover this superstructure with anything. I don't know that we're going to, in all honesty. Aesthetically, it would be pleasing, but there's not really a reason to do it, all things considered. So I think we're fine to have this just be superstructure. We need about another 100 meters per second here. And mostly we're just watching our inclination here. When this hits 0, that's what we want. .9, .8, .7, .6, .5. I'm going to throttle down a bit. 2, 1. Didn't quite hit 0. Let's head over to the normal. I think we overshot a little bit. Let's see. Let's head to normal and... Is that increasing or decreasing our inclination? Increasing. Okay, over to anti-normal. We'll physics warp as we turn. It's a little bit awkward timing-wise. 0.1 degrees might be the best we can do right now. We might have to fix it at the other node. We'll see. Just bring that on down. 0.1 and... I think this is the best we're going to get. 0.1 is probably fine. So we can see here that at the periapsis, we're going to need to push out our apoapsis for that 1,000,000 meter orbit that I want. So that's going to be a pretty hefty push. And that's going to burn basically all of our remaining fuel. So we could circularize at 500,000. That is a possibility. Something like this. That'd be a lot cheaper. And I think we have the fuel to do that, so we can do this without a refueling run. And I think that's worthwhile. We'll target 500,000 meters, rather. Not half a meter. A 0.5 meter orbit would be insane. That would be absolutely bonkers. But we're going to circularize this and hope that we have enough delta V in the tank for the other half. And then we can start disassembling this thing, which is going to be interesting, for sure. Okay, so this is a very minor burn here, definitely. And we'll just get that burning now. 10 meters per second to go. Probably good enough. Oh yeah, that's good enough. Fantastic. So now at the apoapsis, we're going to need to push out the periapsis. And that will bring this up to circularized right about here-ish. Actually, this would be basically circularized. That's good enough. Okay, we'll align for that. And let's warp onto it. I'm very happy to see that we don't need a refueling mission. Or another refueling mission. That would have been annoying, for sure. I want to get started getting this thing constructed. Now, how are we going to do it? That is an excellent question. We'll see what our options are once we are actually there. We'll just go ahead and warp towards this a little bit. 2, 1, 0. And let's get that periapsis pushed out. 50 meters per second to go. We'll call that good. Okay. Yeah, that'll do. Very, very low eccentricity there. Not perfect. Not perfect inclination either, but it doesn't have to be. It just has to be close enough. And now we can launch into a low orbit and intercept this fairly easily. So that'll be fine. That'll be a pretty good orbit for us. And now the question becomes, well, first off, we are going to shut down this engine. I don't want to accidentally throttle up and mess up our orbit, so we're not going to allow that for the time being. Now, we need to dig out one of these guys. And the question is, how are we going to go about doing that? That's a good question. A lot of our stuff is in these cargo storage units, but the stuff that couldn't fit in the cargo storage units is all mounted down here. I think step 1 is probably going to be to move these grabbing claws. So let's go ahead and have Bill EVA here. I'm actually going to... Oh, yeah, you can't quick save while Kerbals are on a ladder. I'm going to quick save here just in case something goes horribly wrong with the physics kraken. That can happen sometimes, so we'll just have a save there so that we can revert back if need be. But if I make a mistake, I'm not going to be reverting. If it's a physics kraken issue, then we can revert, but we are not going to otherwise. So we're going to hop over this direction and try to come to a bit of a stop here. And then we're going to grab this guy. And we're just going to temporarily attach these onto this fuel tank. Like so. Okay. So something like that. Then we're going to need to start moving some of these guys temporarily as well. We can move just this one. I think that's out of range of us. Can we mount it like over here? That's a really awkward place to mount it. Okay. There we go. Cool. So we'll do that for the moment, and then that will allow us to grab some of these modular girder segments. Cannot detach it due to part attachments. So I think we're going to have to grab the strut connector first, and we'll just place that here temporarily. Okay. Now we're going to grab this modular girder segment, and we'll just plop that right over here. And then we will attach these on top. Like so. Cool. And then we'll grab this guy and put it over here. Again, these are temporary locations. We just wanted to activate grabbing this here. So we're going to exit that mode quickly and change up our positioning a bit. We'll head off over this direction. I also want to pin this open so we can keep an eye on our EVA propellant. We have infinite EVA propellant eventually, but let's go ahead and hop back into this mode now. And we cannot detach this guy. And I believe that is because of this strut connector. Yes. So we're going to put this strut connector temporarily over here. And what is preventing us from grabbing this guy now? Is there another strut connector? Maybe. Just taking a peek down through here. Yeah, I'm not sure why we can't grab this modular XL segment. Because this should now be open to us. I don't think it's attached to any other parts. Maybe it is. But I really, really don't think so. Okay, let's just park here for the moment. We're going to grab this guy and put it down over here. I was definitely planning to have this be our first one here. I don't think there are any parts attached to it. Maybe if we have Bill go back into the cockpit and refresh his EVA propellant, but I don't actually expect that will fix it. Let's grab this and hop on in. Okay, Bill. Well, let's head on over and see what we've got. Okay. And we will hop into construction mode. Yeah. There's no max part limit right now because we are not under thrust. Or max part mass, I mean. Because we're not under gravity. So I'm not getting an error message here either. We can grab this guy, move him around. But we can't grab this guy, which is very strange to me. Very strange indeed. Obviously, we can't grab the modular girder segment. That's to be expected. But that's very, very weird. I might have to look into what's going on with that. I mean, we can see that there's a bit of a wild rotation here, but that's not what's causing this, that's for sure. I wonder if we already moved this guy. Okay. Let's just do that for now. It's a very awkward place to put it, that's for sure. But I don't... Yeah, I'm not sure why we can't grab this guy. Is it physically too big? Do we need more Kerbals assisting? That's a possibility. I might have to look into that. Okay. We can definitely grab these bits. And I would argue that these drills would be harder to move than the superstructure, but okay. I think it must be connected to something. But I don't see anything. Unless there's a strut connector over here? But I really don't think that there is. I think that I put in a strut connector only at the bottom. And if that was the issue, it would say can't move that due to part attachments, like it did previously. Like, for example, if we were to try to grab this guy down here, or actually, it's not letting me grab that one either. It might be that we need more Kerbals to assist with this. Yeah, like, cannot detach the modular girder segment due to part attachments. That makes sense. But this gives us no messages whatsoever. Huh. That was definitely unexpected. Well, I will troubleshoot this in between episodes. I will have it solved before this episode goes live. I'll have figured out what we need to do. But for now, I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put a cut in here. And next episode, I'm going to do a lot of building of this station. That's going to be happening, a lot of it off camera. So we'll just have like periodic status updates in the next episode, most likely. I'm not going to do the whole thing on camera. That would be pretty tedious. But we may have to bring another Kerbal up. I will do some research and try to see what we can do to get this under control. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and a very special thank you to all of the channel members for making this video possible. That includes Casserole, Sigma162, JJ Gamer, Spartan News, Rose Valentine, Nick Smarty, and all the rest. And of course, you. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to support the channel, click the join button down below the video. And as always, I will see you all next time. And again, I will have this problem solved before this video goes live. So you can tell me how to fix it, sure, but I'll probably have it figured out by then. See you all next time.